Today I'm going to be showing you the tutorial for the burlap bag decoupage kit. So when you are finished, you'll have something similar to this. So I'm going to show you how I made this one with the kit. And then of course, I always encourage creativity. So yours doesn't need to look like this. This is just what I came up with to give you an idea. And I'll show you how to do that. And then to stuff it, I actually used the packaging stuff from an Amazon order. So if you want to use it in a tier tray or for just a display, you could use it for that. But these also make fantastic gift bags that someone would keep, almost like two gifts in one. So let's get started. We are going to go through the kit. So this is the decoupage kit. So when you open it up, I don't have all the extras in this one, so you probably have some extra goodies in yours. But what you will find in here is your flour that you're going to use, and these do vary. There's assortment of flours, so you might not get one of these, but you'll get burlap flour. There is 2 wooden beads and also a string, and I'll show you what we do with that here in a minute. So I'm going to put this aside. You'll get your burlap bag. Now before you start, I did not do it on this one, but you might want to iron it. You don't have to, but if you want like a cleaner look, this one's pretty flat, so we're good. But some of them do have some bends in them, so you have that. You're going to have your decoupage and your brush if you don't have one. And then I always like to include an extra item to craft with. So again, I'll show you what I did with this little tag here. You'll have your napkin. Now this is the napkin the kit comes with. I'll be doing a different napkin because I do need a gift bag. So I have a different design I'm going to package, so I have that. And then there'll also be extra craft papers. You could use this in addition to the napkin that you have. You can use it for another project, but you have that. So I'm going to put this box aside and we're going to get started. So a couple of things that you're going to want around the house that you should have is a couple of Ziploc bags. You could also use parchment paper for this. You could also use, I've used saran wrap type paper before. And then you're gonna need at least 2. So I'll show you what we're gonna do with that. You're gonna want your water to make sure we clean our brush. You're gonna need scissors. I always like to have paper towel to clean up messes, dry my brush. And then you will need a glue gun of some sorts or some type of glue to attach. You could use craft glue as well to attach the flour when we get there. And I think that's it. So I'm going to get started, possibly. It's like I have my favorite brush over here and I lost it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the burlap bag aside for just a moment. And I'm gonna prepare my design. Now, when I was making this one, I did want to have I wanted the edge to kind of blend in to the bag. So I did not cut around the design. You can cut it, or you can do a wet decoupage, which I've done in other tutorials, where you would take the water and go around the outside and tear it like that. Or you can just do the fingernail style. So for the one that I did, I actually did the fingernail. So what I'm doing, and it's okay if you wrinkle the pattern, is I'm just going around the outside, and I'm basically using my nails to rip around the design. And sometimes, I forgot this part, but sometimes it's easier just to kind of roughly cut out what you're using so that you're not dealing with this whole piece over here. All right, there's a nice little tip for you. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue around the outside of this design. You can get as close to it as you want, or as far away as you want. And you're just gonna keep working around the outside of this. So one of the cool things about this project is if you end up loving this project, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wanna make more of these, or I need more gift bags, or I need more home decor, or maybe you want to give it as home decor as a gift. The burlap bags are available in the store under Project Canvases. And obviously I have a bunch of napkins you can choose from, so you can have all different designs to be able to make whatever it is that you need. So this part is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole project. And the cool thing is, I like that it doesn't have to be perfect. That's kind of one of my things that I like about decoupage is it can be messy and beautiful at the same time. And I kind of feel that's how we are when it comes to God, right? We are messy often, but He sees the beauty in us. Look at that. There's a little devotional in the middle of our crafting thing there. Okay, so I finally got this torn off. So you're gonna end up with something, you know, similar to this. Again, you'll probably have a different design if you have the kit, or if you bought it separately, yeah. Okay, so this literally is the hardest part of this project, and it is separating the top part of the design that we're going to be using from the rest of the napkins. However, what I have found is when you tear it with your fingernails like this, you have a pretty good chance of catching the edge. So here we have, this is actually not coming apart correctly. So you can see it is tearing off the layer, but this is a 3-ply napkin. So I actually need the layer below this one. So let's try again and see if we can get the top layer. So the layer that you want to end up with is actually like a super thin layer. All right, this time I've got it. So you're going to want to do this very carefully so that you do not end up tearing your design in half. So you can see I'm just carefully doing the edges first. Because once I can get those edges, oh, see that tore a little bit? My design tore a little bit, but that's okay because we're gonna press it out and it's gonna kind of blend in with the burlap. So we're gonna be just fine. So don't overthink this. There's really not too much you can do to mess this up, which again is why I like decoupage, because I love crafting, but I also don't have a ton of patience for crafting, if that makes any sense. Like, I want to just do it and enjoy the beauty and then be done. All right, so here is the design that I ended up with, and so now we are ready. So I did not bring a pencil, but what you might want to do, well, what you are going to want to do, actually, let's put the Ziploc in here before we get too crazy. So this is why we wanted to have a Ziploc bag, one of the Ziploc bags. Again, I have used parchment paper in here before the first time I did it. The parchment paper, it did stick just a teeny bit in my trial run that I made that one. So I'm gonna try a Ziploc bag this time and see if it sticks less. And I'm also gonna let it dry before I take it out. When I was doing my mock-up for this, I was impatient because I needed to make pictures, and so I was just kind of like, okay, hurry up and dry. And I live in Arizona, so I like stuck it outside to hurry up and dry. But you just want to make sure that when you stuff it in there, you've got it all the way to the edges, that everywhere that you're going to be decoupaging. And figure out what side you want to be the front. And then we're going to place our design on it. Now, what I did notice on mine the first time I did it, I feel it's a little bit high, especially if I'm gonna use this as a gift bag. So this time when I do it, I'm actually gonna drop it down a little lower. If you like it high, you can definitely do it high, but just something to think about in that placement. If you are gonna use it as decoration, keep in mind because of the top here, it's gonna take a little bit off of it. So I'm gonna drop this one down a little bit lower. And like I said, I don't think I have a pencil with me here. No, but if you do, you can just kind of mark where you need to be. Since I don't have a pencil, I'm actually gonna cheat. I'm gonna do a little Mod Podge. So here we go. So get it exactly where you want it. And then I'm actually going to, I'm not gonna stick it to it yet, so make sure you don't attach it, but I'm gonna just make some marks here. on how big of a space my Mod Podge needs to be. There we go, there's my cheat. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is actually cover this whole space with the Mod Podge, and you can keep it kind of in the shape of your design. When it dries, it's gonna dry clear, and we're also going to be doing a coat over the top. So you do wanna get it out to the edges though, because the first time I did this, I had to keep applying some to the edges, which we may have to do this time too. So again, you can't really mess this up. All right, so we're gonna be pretty generous here with the first coat. My design, I do know it has a little tail over here, so I'm gonna make it go up here, and I think I have a little bit more up here. Okay, so let's see where we're at with that. Don't stick your brush in the water yet, because you're gonna need it. All right, so I'm gonna reposition it. We wanna make sure our wording is straight. All right, and I'm just gonna tack it down there. So very gently, I just wanna tack down the front. And then I'm gonna see where I need to add some on the sides here. So I can see I did not go far enough here, so I wanna add that because I wanna make sure all the way to your little frilly edges. So if you have like some little tear edges, you wanna make sure you've got that Mod Podge further out, a little bit further out than your actual design, so that it has something to stick to when we do the final attachment here. So again, we're just kind of letting it free float. We're working through all the edges, making sure that we have extra for it to stick to. Try not to touch the middle too much once it's on there. Okay, so there we have enough. So just lightly with my finger, I'm going to just make sure it's attached all the way out, just lightly. I'm just barely getting it out there. Then I'm gonna take my other Ziploc bag, and this is where you're really gonna smooth out from the inside out. You're smoothing out all of those wrinkles. So, and it's also, you'll be able to see, it's pushing kind of the burlap into the actual napkin. And this is where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I'm like, I love this part. Seriously, I'm like, ah, beautiful. Okay, then carefully take that off. And then we're going to do a light coat of Mod Podge over the top. Again, work from your, you wanna work from the edges out, because we don't want those edges peeling up. And again, this is just a light coat to kind of make sure it stays on there, that our edges don't peel up later on at some point. Okay, and then again, super light over the design, because the last thing I want to do, this could be getting tacky, and I don't want to rip that design. I also don't want to have so much Mod Podge that the wording becomes muddy. And the other thing I have done on accident, not with this particular napkin, but I have worked the middle so much that the ink actually started to smear. So don't overwork this, just light touches. The next step is to let that dry. Now, because I'm doing a video tutorial, I'm breaking my own rules. I'm not gonna let this dry. Okay, so I'm gonna move on and just be really careful of this design. And then don't throw away your Ziploc. This is actually the same one that I used for when I did the first one. So I just put this away with my decoupage supplies so that I can use it every time. And then I don't have to waste stuff. So while this is drying, I'm gonna show you on my particular one that I did, I actually undid the little strands here. And if you do it this way, of course my son stole all my tape, but I have double-sided tape, that's the thing. If you do it this way, what you're gonna do is, and this is easiest if you tape these together. I did not bring tape in here to do the tutorial, so I'm gonna do the spit and twist method. This is not recommended if you're gonna give it away as a gift. I'm gonna put that disclaimer on here. Because, you know, germs. All right, so I'm gonna stuff this in here. So I just stuffed them in there, little by little. Again, this is way easier if you just Scotch tape the ends and thread it through. But I have a child that absolutely loves tape, and so it's constantly missing in my home. I don't know about you, I can't keep Scotch tape in and around the house. Okay, so I undid the knot, I threaded it through, and then you're just gonna re-tie the knot like that, like so. And then you put it on the end there. Obviously I did a better knot before, but I don't want you hung up on me trying to tie this knot. So there's an option with the beads, okay? You don't have to do that. The beads and the tag are completely up to you. Here is another option that you could do with the beads and the tag, because it does include the string. So if you wanted to do a gift tag, you could write on this, you could decoupage this. If you have a Cricut, you could do some fancy vinyl design on this, and this could be part of your gift tag on your bag. You could use this as a bookmark. So this was included for your creativity, but I just wanted to show you how I did mine. So obviously I would do both sides, but right now I'm gonna do the bow. So what I did for mine was I did close it to kind of see where I would want the bow. So you could put the bow up here if you're gonna give it as a gift bag. You could put the bow over here on the design if you wanted to. I think on mine, because I did it the other way first, I think I'm gonna actually do it up here this time. And so if you are gonna do it at the top, I do recommend that you cinch the bag first so you can see where the folds are gonna go. And then I would not glue it where the actual strings, I would probably glue it like right below. So I'm gonna see where I want it, and then I'm gonna carefully undo my cinch, and it should sit. Okay, so if that's where it ended up, so this is where I'm going to put it. So with this, I'm just gonna be generous with the glue there, and I'm just stick it down real good. And then also just make sure your Ziploc baggie should be in there, but if it does glue to the back of the bag, you can just pull it apart because it's hot glue and it's pliable there. Okay, so I'm gonna close it up, and then this one still has to dry, but this would be the final result. So again, if you love this project and you want to do more of them, I'm gonna put the link for the burlap bags should be below this video. And then obviously all the napkins are in the napkin section of the website. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for getting the kit, and I hope you love it. Also, I would love to see the bags that you do and what you use them for. So anytime if you post on social media, you can just tag us at Christian Craft Paper, and then we'll be able to see it. And then we also have a Facebook group for Christian crafts and DIY. You're welcome to share your creations in there, whether they're creations with our products or just creations that you've made that are Christ focused. I'll put that link for the group below as well. Again, thank you so much.